Okay, nako, magandang gabi ho sa inyo lahat. Welcome mo sa ating program. Ako po si Sunny Laragan. Siyempre, alalay lang ho ng ating pinakamamahal, Brains and Beauty. No? Lahat na ho yan, Brains, Beauty, and Youth. No? Young looking. No? Ito ho, walang iba kundi si Attorney DANNA QUINTO sa ating Legal Advice Corner. Magandang gabi, Attorney.
Magandang gabi, Mr. Laragan. Magandang gabi sa lahat ng mga kababayan natin. It's quite salamat sa mga nakakatabang pusong mga comments, no? But first of all, we're talking about beauty, brains, young looking, and service. Isa yung mga naisip ko is I know you heard of the news last night.
Oh, yes. Ano ba yan? Anong news nga pala? Teka muna. Yes, kagad ako. Hindi ko pa alam kung ano sinasabi mo. Oh, yes.
No, kidding aside, I just want to start the show with giving our condolences sa family ng kababayan natin, Mayor Cynthia Barker.
Yes.
She's quite a legend in the Filipino community and talk about beauty brains service to the Filipino people and really pushing the Filipino name, upholding the Filipino community in the wider UK community. So it's such a deep loss. I met her a few years back, and she was very supportive. And I just want to start off with that, with a good memory of her, and a tribute when we're talking about positive things. It's not a very, very good year. A lot of people would say, ang dami talagang nangyayari sa taon na to. It's such a year. So, I can't hear you, Mr. Laray. Isa sa mga nangyayari sa taong to yung audio mo. No, wala pati. I can't hear you.
Ito, can you hear me now? Ayan.
Yeah.
Bumalik na? Ayan, okay. Oo nga, para akong
we're talking about,
Oh.
just a little pause before our show today is a tribute to great Filipina. Isa sa mga, I met her, and I was a great fan, still a great fan when I met her 3 years ago. She supported me 3 years ago when I was doing my ultramarathon.
Really,
We were doing that fundraising, so and she supported me ever since. So I just want to pay tribute to someone that will be that will be very, very, very well missed. So yon. Apart from that, I don't know if you can see madilim na, nag-change na talaga ang season, ano?
Yes.
It's darker. Mainit today, but normally it's quite cold. Change ng season. Si Jose Marichan ay kumakanta na ng
mga Christmas songs. Oo nga raw. Pagka this time of the year lang naalala, o dumarting si Jose Marichan.
Puno na yung social media feed ko ng Jose Marichan. September na nga, and the kids are back to school. There's a lot of nandun tayo sa kumbaga a change of season. And hopefully it'll be for the better. So, kapit lang lahat.
Oo.
Kapit hanggang matapos yung taon na to.
Ikaw ba, attorney, as early as now, do you make plans for Christmas, like your Christmas list? Ganun ba ang feeling mo ba? I'll make this Christmas better than last year. Mga ganun things that cross your mind. Meron ka namang list of mga ano ba? Do you mga Christmas list?
Yeah, actually, I'm a big Christmas person. I only spend it here in the UK at may mga nag-aampon sa akin mga buting tao. So, for the last few years ago to the Shyberts. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Shyberts, yung dati kong boss. I think I've been going to theirs for the last X years. Shyberts, yung that David Shybert.
Okay. All right.
David and St. Hubans and Kavita, who's adopted me for the last, 5-6 years for Christmas. So, talaga inimbita ko yung sarili ko for Christmas this year, no? To be fair naman, madaming mga
pero yung mga friends mo dyan, yung mga kababata mo, mga schoolmates mo yata sa Surrey, do you go with them? Meron din kayong Christmas get-together?
Yeah, we've already planned actually a few weeks ago. Talagang, alam mo naman dito sa atin, kailangan mo ilagay yung annual leave mo. All months and months. So we're planning to see each other sa Christmas break. So dun kami
Oh.
nagkakaroon talaga ng big break. I think this
Mm.
year I'm not sure kung may official. Sometimes we close between Christmas and New Year. Madaming firms na nagko-close
Nagko-close.
this is and then announcement and talking about information. Actually, marami pong firms na nagko-close between Christmas and New Year. The reason being is
Mhm.
that yung yung Boxing Day, so Christmas and Boxing Day normally walang pasok. And mahirap maghanap ng mga papasok between doon at hanggang
Mm.
New Year. So a lot of firms, law firms are closed between that. So kung may better ask your lawyers if they're about. But yeah, no, as early as now, we try to be organized. Maraming mabubuting tao na who
Mm.
extend their invitation para sa Christmas. Nakakatuwa naman. But yeah, medyo medyo tayo ng Christmas.
Mabalik lang ako
I'm a
kay ano.
December baby eh. December
Oo.
baby po ako eh. So,
December ka ba
yeah,
pinanganak?
December
December ano ka,
30.
attorney? Para at least maisulat na agad ni Edgar Dulay. No? Dahil kanya,
December 30, Edgar.
December 30.
December 30.
Oh, a
December
birthday
30.
ni Edgar sa 17.
Oh, guys,
Oo.
happy
Oo.
birthday, Edgar Duay. Happy birthday
Oo.
siya po yung isa sa mga pinakauna nating audience, Mr. Laragan, when we started in March.
Oo.
Isa siya sa mga unang nanood sa atin. So, special happy birthday kay Edgar Duay.
Naalala mo kung anong tawag niya sa'yo nung una ka?
Hyper.
Hyper. Oo, Hindi
Hyper
kasi nga,
beauty.
yung very first episode mo, you were hyper. Pero tama yun. Okay lang.
Oo,
First
hyper.
time eh. Oo, tama
Umaga
yun.
kasi. Kakakape ko lang. Ito kasi 8 p.m. na ano na ako ng trabaho.
Oo, yeah. At
Napakalaman na.
towards the end of the day, medyo cool na, no? Yung dati.
Cool
Pero
na, yeah.
birthdays, no? Pero mabalik lang ako ng attorney dun sa, bago tayo dun sa ating legal discussion. Mabanggit ko lang, yung una nating mayor, si Danny Favor, okay, first Filipino na lalaki, no? Male. Alam mo ba kung sino unang naka-interview sa kanya? Para sa television? Because I work for GMA. Teka mo na, ipa-plug ko yung GMA.
Yeah, actually GMA na ano nyo. Yeah,
Ayan,
very
ayan.
good. Yeah.
Oo, ayan.
Yeah.
GMA.
Very good. Yes.
Serbisyong totoo.
Oo,
Kita mo naman, ha? Oo.
Plug tayo dyan. Service totoo. Ganda mo, August. Akala ko yun yung pangalan. Namimiss ko si August eh.
Oo
GMA,
nga.
ganda
Ay,
mo.
si August, naku, hindi nakatiis no isang araw. Sumali sa atin sa, kailan ba yun? I think Friday. Kasi ang topic, if you're special someone forgets your birthday, what do you say or do, no? Mukhang natamaan siya ron. Mukhang
Natamaan.
nakarelate. No, nakarelate siguro, nakarelate. So, yes.
So
going
kayo
back.
po, do tell. Kayo po ba unang nakapag-interview kay first Mayor Danny
Favor,
po ba
yes,
yun?
for GMA. And also, si Cynthia Barker. Ako rin ang naka-interview when she was became the first mayor ng ano. At matagal na. I first met her in 2009 yata or 10. Kasi actually, makwento ko lang sa'yo, wala ako, bago yung Pinoy Radio UK, tahimik lang ako sa bahay, nanonood lang ako ng TV, miinom ng beer. Tapos nagpadala ako kay Farochile nung araw. Tapos sabi niya, ang ganda ho ng boses niyo, baka kayo pwedeng mag-MC nung aming more than event. So I was really, really quiet until, yun nga, nag-MC ako. Doon na nagsimula yun, no? Na kasi kung hindi ako nag-MC no, hindi ko tinayo ang Pinoy Radio UK, hindi siguro ako lalabas eh. Tahimik lang ako sa bahay, no? But anyway, wag natin pag-usapan yan. Sa kanila natin pag-usapan.
No, it's isa ka sa isang mga legend din sa Filipino community. So, may you have long
Para si Edgar Duway. Attorney, mukhang ikaw wala ka originality Ninakaw mo yung kay Edgar Duway Di ba minsan pag bumabati sa akin, Sunny Legend. Oo. Salbahe talaga to si Edgar Duway.
Mapapagalitan na naman ako sa comment section ni Edgar Duway.
Magagalit si Edgar. Pero I hope, it's his birthday on the 17th. At nakwento ko na sa iyo yung kanyang di ba? Yung kwento na kanyang buhay about birthday, di ba?
Kwento ng birthday niya.
Oo, so he cannot celebrate it with the family. So he has to do it on his own and go up mountains or hills or whatever or do long walks, no? Oo,
Yeah.
parang ginagawa niya.
Ingat and enjoy, Edgar, and we're gonna be thinking of you on 17th of September. Talagang special shout out sa isa sa mga original na nanonood na audience.
Uy,
Nakakatuwa.
anong araw ba 17? Baka Edgar, kung nasaan ka man nagka-camping at kung saan nakatirik yung tent mo, sana may signal doon. Baka pwede ka tumawag ka sa akin. Hindi ko alam kung
Yeah,
anong show yon. Ano oras ba 17? Thursday. Aabot siya kay
Thursday.
attorney kay Lira. Oo,
Yeah.
oo.
Ano
Pero
siya?
nagsisimula siya maglakad ng ano pa lang yata Wednesday, no? Baka sa night sa show ko ng Wednesday night.
Asan siya?
Okay.
Yun.
Oo, gusto ko lang sabihin sa mga kababayan natin, mamaya kung may mga tanong ho kayo, may tatalakayin si attorney, pero pagkatapos ng open forum na ho tayo, open
Open
na natin sa
forum.
questions, no? Kung meron kayong mga tanong. Meron lang problema ang Zoom natin at the moment, no? Ayusin ko kagabi pa kaya hindi ako nakapag-Zoom last night. Pero I'd like to encourage everybody kung gusto niyo magtanong ng live directo sa amin, no? Para nang sa ganun ay parang dito na rin ho ninyo tinanong yung question ninyo.
Correct.
May kausapin kita siguro off-air or tomorrow, Dana, something about that, no?
Opo.
Oo, okay.
That's fine.
Oh,
That's fine.
paki-share
No
na rin
problem.
'yon. Paki-share nyo yung ating pinakamahusay na abogado, no? Dito lahat ng aspeto ho ng legal, no? Pati of course immigration, kaya lang toka lang kay attorney Lira, pero si attorney Dana ho ating eksperto sa mga pag inaway kayo ng boyfriend nyo o asawa nyo, 'di ba? O pinalayas kayo, o merong stalker kayo, may utang sa iyo para nakalimot na nagkaroon ng amnesia. O nasagasaan ba kayo? Nabangga kayo, attorney? May personal injury,
Yes, personal injury yun,
Oo.
yes.
Oo, yung mga divorce, no? Ayan, saklaw nyo
Yes,
yan, no?
yes.
Nakakatulong kayo
Yes.
diyan. Ano pa ba, attorney? Ano pa ba ang mga saklaw ng iyong kaalaman?
Yung mga sa neighbor, sa landlord, yung mga nakaharas sa internet, yung sa negosyo, kung may mga kontrata na kailangan, sa trabaho. So it's fairly broad
Ayun.
medyo malawak po
Oo.
yung area natin. So anything na may nagkakaroon kayo ng problema with another citizen, another na individual or company, that's civil litigation.
Okay. Attorney, bago mo simulan yung mga tungkol sa gabing ito, doon sa iyong legal topic for tonight, bago yung open forum natin, yung opening our lines to the questions, yung mga pagbati mo na, bigandaan ko lang muna, para ito yung mga early birds natin. Ayan, si Emeline Rafael, no, sabi niya, good evening, Sunny and Attorney Dana Quinto. Ayan.
Good evening po.
Good evening. Ito si May Tigbao Vargas. Sabi niya, good evening, Sir Sunny and Attorney Dana. Ayun. At least ito
Good
yung mga unang
evening,
pabati,
May.
no?
Magandang
Ayan.
gabi.
Wait, May, Emeline, baka may mga tanong kayo, ha? Ikaw, Emeline, ikaw may dahilan kung bakit nagtatagalog na rin si attorney at yung mga kasamahan mo.
Ayan ba?
Isa siya sa mga, sabi niya, Sir Sunny, Sunny, pwedeng bang mga, kayong mga grupo, marami kang mga kakilala na gusto magtagalog si attorney. O, sige, ayan, napagbigyan na. Okay.
Alam problema.
Ayan, si Marie Fairbanks, sabi niya, good evening, Sunny and Dana. Ito, napakahusay nito. Bawa ko rito, no? Maraming mga tanong din to
Yeah.
si Marie. Hindi lamang para sa kanya, kundi mostly sa mga kakilala niya at mga kaibigan niya. So, asahan natin yung mga tanong ninyo, ha? Pinagbibigyan lang natin muna yung mga pagbati ninyo. Ito, look at this guy, si Ranjit Somel, no? He's, Indian ba? Or anong
Yeah,
nation?
work here.
Oo.
Yeah.
Good evening, Sir Sunny and lovely Dana and everyone else too, of course, all the way from Warwickshire. Mabuhay.
From Warwickshire.
Thank you, ha?
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
evening, Ranjit.
Oo.
Lovely Ranjit.
Darmin Ballerino, good evening, Kuya Sunny, and beautiful. Beautiful, ha? Attorney Dana, no? Attorney, ayan, no? Kita mo
Good
naman.
Darwin. Evening
Ayan.
sa po mo dyan.
Good evening, Sir Sunny. Ito naman, Crispina Smith, no? Good evening, Sir Sunny, and Attorney Di Quinto. Ayun. Okay.
Araw lang, attendance sa class.
Oo. Edgardo Cagastian Enriquez. Good evening, Kuya Sunny and Attorney Danny. Dana, watching from Canada Water, London. Ayan. Yan na muna yung ating mga early birds, Attorney. Mamaya natin basahin yung mga second batch ng mga pagbate. Okay. Anong
Na,
paki-share lang ho ninyo ha, paki-share ninyo itong ating program at ipagkalat ho ninyo itong ating programa dahil malaking kaalaman to, no? Tungkol sa batas. Alam nyo, pagka hindi nyo alam ang isang bagay at nangyari sa inyo, you're stuck eh. Stumped kayo,
yeah.
di ba? Hindi nyo alam, no? So, mas mabuti itong may ganito. Plus, pagka may legal concerns at kailangan nyo ng abogado, syempre, Attorney Dana Quinto. Attorney, ano pag-uusapan? Anong gusto mo i-discuss tonight?
Tonight is dahil to again sa post-COVID or COVID na resulta o trend na nakikita namin, which is a bit sad. We're talking about it's a hard year kanina, Mr. Laragan. Um, Amongst us lawyers at kahit mga hindi taga-DB solicitors, talaga nakikita na mataas ang rate ng divorce post-COVID. Ang daming nagtatanong, ang daming nag-uumpisa ng divorce, ang daming nag-i-inquire. Even, personally, na naririnig mo, may mga talagang increase ng activity sa ending ng mga relationships. Ang sabi ng iba, it's because yun nga, yung epekto daw po ng quarantine nito na, ito daw yung ultimate test ng relationship. You're in a crisis situation, super pressured, and talagang yung mga may crack na yung relasyon, doon na talaga na naubos o nag-ending na talaga. Sometimes, ang sinasabi naman namin, kami, wala po kaming judgment. Wala pong kung ano man yung rason yan, kung ano man ang naging dahilan o naging proseso, wala po kaming judgment. We don't judge. Why I'm going to talk about it is, yung sabi niyo po kanina, ang karamihan, especially stressful na ngayong year and stressful ang any ending ng relationship. So kung gano'n, mas mabuti kung alam mo na agad kung ano yung overview, ano ba yung kailangan kong isipin, ano ba yung mangyayari, ano ba yung kailangan kong ayusin kung ending na ng relasyon ko, kung ending na ng marriage ko at may pamilya ko. Ano ba yung mga kailangan kong pag-usapan dun sa future ex-spouse ko. I always do this kung may face-to-face na client meeting. Actually, para visual. Because talagang sabihin mo, paano ba yan? Ano ba gagawin? Sabay ba tong divorce? Sabay ba tong pera? Sabay ba tong anak? Actually, there's 3 separate proceedings. Tatlo potentially in separate na proceedings. I'll go with the first one na unang-unang from the law's point of view, ang pinakauna is mga bata. So the children matter. As far as the court is concerned, they would encourage yung mga magulang na pag-usapan kung paano nyo hahatiin yung oras nyo. I'll come back to that because yun yung sabi ko sa inyo, bibigay ko muna yung overview bago para alam mo ilang proseso ba ang kailangan kong pagdaanan bago makalabas ako sa phase ng buhay kong to. So the first is talk about the children. The second is talk about the finances. So for years, magka-link yung finances niyo mag-asawa, and now you have to unlink it. Kailangan yung tingnan kung ano yung assets nyo, kailangan yung tingnan kung ano yung liabilities nyo. And from there, from one household, kailangan nyo maging 2 households. So that's a second process. And the third process, and ito yung parang, we talk about misconceptions for the first few months ng show natin. Ito yung I wouldn't say cause ng misconception, but ito yung parang nagugulat ang maraming tao. Is that actually yung the process of getting divorced, yung procedure ng magiging divorce ka, is actually pinaka-simple sa tatlong proceedings yun. The first is children, the second is finances, and the third is the process of simply getting divorced. Yun yung sasabihin nila, ano ba yung rason? So there's only one reason: irretrievable breakdown of marriage, supported by one of 5 acts, and usually it's either 5-year separation, 2-year separation with consent ng both parties, Unreasonable behavior, kung hindi pa kayo nagsiseparate for 2 years. Adultery, and there's another form of desertion, but very rarely used. So yun yung normally lumalabas dun sa divorce petition. It's a very simple process. Pwedeng wala kayong anak, wala kayong pinag-aawayan sa pera, at gusto niya lang mag-divorce. So actually, mabilis lang at madali. Pwedeng wala kayong anak, pero may assets kayo, may pinag-aawayan kayong assets, and gusto niyo mag-divorce. So again, that's, within you, pwede niyo mag-agree. So dalawang proceedings lang yung dadaanan niyo. Pwedeng yung classic is meron kayong anak na minors, meron kayong assets na kailangang i-disentangle, and meron kayong the divorce petition that you have to go through. So, depende sa sitwasyon nyo, when you go to a solicitor, yun ang tatanungin nila. So, which one of those three apply? Which one, or if all of those applies to you? So, please don't be overwhelmed. It is an overwhelming and extremely stressful, extremely sad situation. But pwede mo siyang the best thing to go about it is to look at it from those three separate proceedings and to go about it in a stepwise process. So I'm gonna leave you with that because malaki siya. Abutin tayo siguro ng birthday ni Edgar Duay kung pag-uusapan natin yung tatlo. So I'm gonna leave you with that over, and in the next few weeks we're going to talk about each of those processes in much greater detail. What you need to know now is if you're at that stage in your life, isipan mo, ilan ba sa tatlong proceedings na yun? So I'd put tatlong coupon ban. Sa tatlong coupon ban, ano ba gusto kong gawin? Gusto ko lang ba mag-divorce? Kailangan ko ba mag-usap about pera? Or kailangan ko ba mag-usap about children contact? So those three, just remember those three elements, and then we'll come back to it next week.
Ano yung ikatlo uli, attorney? So, children, finances, ano nga yung ikatlo uli?
That's the process po of getting divorced, the actual process of undoing your marriage.
Okay. So, who initiates ba dyan? Who initiates ba? Let's say, for example, may nangyayari, they don't sleep together anymore, hindi na nagsasama. Ano ba yan? Maski sino lang ba pwede mag-initiate? Matagal nang hiwalay?
Yeah, correct.
At kung sino nag-initiate, kamukha sa Pilipinas, kaya hindi nag-aanal yung mga tao. Kasi naghihintayan eh. Para bang, kunyari, kung sino medyo kumita na o medyo yumaman na spouse na gustong mag-initiate ng annulment, siya gagastos. No? Dito, hindi ganun ang proseso. No? Ang divorce, hindi yung tipong mas lalamang yung mag-i-initiate ng divorce kasi siya ang magki-claim ng mga reasons, no, na adultery o di kaya ginugulpi ako niyan. Would, for example, if somebody initiated the divorce, yung bang nag-initiate is in a advantageous situation ba? In a way, meron ba advantage o wala?
Yeah. Meron din po. So remember po, tatlo po yung proceedings. So that's three separate proceedings. Pwede kang petitioner sa isa and respondent sa isa and petitioner na naman sa isa. Pwede kang ikaw yung naunang mag-trigger ng children proceedings pero respondent ka dun sa divorce at respondent ka sa finances. So I won't make it complicated, but just with the process of getting divorced, dito ko kasi nakikita I'll walk through it kung bakit ka magiging petitioner sa iba't ibang proceedings na yun. With the children first, magiging petitioner ka kung ikaw yung hindi masyado nakakakita ng mga anak. Kung ikaw yung kumbaga sinasabi mo na hindi ako binibigyan ng enough contact nung kabila. So that's when you go to the court as an applicant, hindi mo petitioner, applicant dun sa proceedings na yon. That's the first element, first na coupon ba natin. And that's when you invoke it. Wala naman, I mean, yung advantage nun, it's because ikaw yung may kailangan ng direction from the court. That's exactly ang advantage nun. Now, the second one, it's fairly the same sa finances. normally, sino yung nagsistart ng financial proceedings is sino yung mas nagmamadali na ma-deal yung finances straight away. So most of the time is the lower earning spouse kasi kailangan na nila ng pera. Kailangan na nila yung share nila sa bahay. So that's when that's when it's applicable na ikaw yung applicant. It doesn't give you an advantage. Pareho pa rin titingnan ng korte lahat ng disclosure niya sa finances. So kahit na ikaw yung applicant, you're still subject to the same rule of disclosure. Now I'm gonna go to the third one kasi ito may tactical advantage pag nauna ka. And it's more of getting your story first. So yung third one is just the process, the procedural, the procedure of getting your marriage divorced. So it's to do with the children. It has nothing to do with the finances. It's only just undoing that particular marriage in the registry. So sa ganon, kung ikaw yung applicant, ikaw yung makakalagay ng rason. So that's the only really advantage to that. You can ask for cost. Very very minimal yung cost na compared to the two proceedings. You can ask for cost. However, dito sa UK, which is slightly different, you probably find this very odd. Dito sa UK, dahil nga may dalawa pa kaming, how would say it, battles. Dalawa pa kaming kailangang debate. We don't spend so much time dun sa third. We don't spend energy. We don't spend negotiation bandwidth. Huwag mong inisin dun sa third kasi hindi naman yun yung mahalaga eh. Ang mahalaga lang, ma-divorce kayo. Pero the real battle is having enough time with your children and getting a decent financial settlement. And that's the reason why yung third na yon, sobrang behave na mga abogado doon. And that's the reason why when we do a draft petition, I don't know if a lot of people know this, hindi namin dinediretso sa korte. We actually send a draft to the other side. Sasabihin namin, meron ka bang challenge dyan? Kasi, okay, sige, pag-usapan natin. The reason being is that ayaw may alienate dun sa third element yung kalaban mo. So that pwede kayong mag-usap pa about the children, about the finances. So that's how you talk about strategy. Yes, pag ikaw yung petitioner dun sa third element, in the process of getting divorced, you can put your story in. Oh, ito, hindi nagugas ang plato. We don't sleep together anymore. He or she is emotionally distant. We don't, we're very different people. We simply don't love each other anymore. But that's your experience of the marriage. Pwedeng iba yung experience ng kabila ng marriage. So that's the reason why the court really doesn't give you extra points or less points kung petitioner ka or respondent. And that's exactly the reason why lawyers don't really debate so much about the reason of why you're getting divorced. From our point of view, kung pumunta na kayo sa amin, we advise you about, ano na ba talaga to? Sure na ba talaga to? We have to advise you about possible reconciliation. If you're sure, wala na kaming, judgment kung gusto mo mag-divorce. Our job is to get you divorced as efficiently as possible and with the larger picture in view, kailangan namin ma-apportion yung resources mo na para meron ka pa, may energy ka pa, may pambayad ka pa para dun sa totoong battles, which is makita mo yung anak mo at makakuha ka ng decent financial settlement.
Bakit pinaglalabanan niya, attorney? Bakit kailangan yung resources mo dahil ilalaban mo lang, dagdagan mo ko ng another day para makita? What seems to be, ang strategies ba? Meron bang because you're saying save up on your resources and everything for the other battle, let's say, the children. Ano ba yan? Parang duruan ba yan? O tiga, gusto ko 4 na araw, o gusto ko 3, o gusto ko ganun. Bakit? Who really decides? Bakit merong mas dominant na parent na siya ang parang kailangan magbigay ng yung ano ba, alam mo na, siya ba yung nagluluwag o naghihigpit? Meron ba o
Ah,
hindi equal yan? Hindi ba equal yan silang dalawa?
yeah, yeah, you're right, you're right. We have to remember when two people are in this situation, there's a reason why they're in this situation. Kumbaga, may friction na naganap. There has been dispute kung ano yung ano nila, kung bakit ayaw na nila maging together. So you're approaching a messy situation, Mr. Laragan. You're right, absolutely right. In a perfect world, yung third element lang yung kailangan nila kasi they agreed about super reasonable nila at they agreed about na 50-50 sila sa time with the children. Maayos yung usap nila at perfectly eksakto pareho sila ng view about the finances. At kailangan lang talaga nila is a bit of help with getting the paperwork done with divorcing. That's a perfect world. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen so much and all the time because the reason is
Mhm.
that we have imperfect people. We have
Mhm.
imperfect human. Magkaiba yung tingin nila sa isa't isa and that's the reason why nagdi-divorce sila because sabi ng isa, may domestic violence o hindi masyado or tamad yung kabila. So that would have an impact pag may domestic violence. They would say, well, karamihan sasabihin na, well, I want to make sure na maayos yung mga bata kung sasama dun sa kabilang parent nila. It's not exactly about may dominant na parent. It's more of ano yung issues nila in terms of dun sa una, in terms of contact, may issues ba? Meron bang proper na natitirhan na yung mga bata dun sa kabilang parents. So that's a lots of throwing and throwing. With the second one sa finances, alam mo dito, both parties, most of the time, kung lalo na kung matagal na yung marriage, they spent all their lives building up one household, Mr. Laragan. This is the problem, building up one household. They
Mhm.
live their life, both income, having the same standard of living, use na nila with one household. Now they have to undo that to create two households. Now that creates a lot of debate dahil, unless sobrang laki ng pera mo, it's very hard to do that. It's very, very hard in
Meron
reality.
bang cases, attorney? O sige, babawasan ko yung gusto kong, let's say, access sa anak ko. Pero, bawasan mo rin doon sa finances.
You
Nagkakaroon ba ng
can't do
mga
that.
trade-off? May
You
mga ganun
can't
ba?
do that.
You can't do
Meron
that.
you
Oo.
can't do that. And even ako, yung
Oo.
sinasabi namin, ako sinasabihin ko talaga yung kliyente ko. Sasabihin ko, don't weaponize. Huwag mo i-weaponize yung children. We have that particular saying, so, treat this as separate. You have to treat this as separate. And I will tell my client, na, upfront, frankly, na sasabihin ko, the court will see through it. And it will not be good for you because you have to treat that separately. The children would have to be the paramount consideration at hindi mo sila pwedeng gawing pawn dun sa second element. And that's the reason why I kept saying, tatlo yan, separate yan, tatlong
Mm.
bandit for kumbaga.
Mm.
Kaya ko inuna yung children. Pinangalawa ko yung divorce.
So, kumbaga,
Ay, hindi
iba-ibang
ko
folder
kaya.
yan. Kailangan folder as in itself.
Magkakaiba po
Another
yan.
folder. Yeah,
Magkaibang
okay.
folder actually yan. It's
Okay.
really physically different folder sa opisina ko. And that's how dun ko pinapresent yung division ng issues na yon sa kliyente. Kita mo to, magkaibang folder yung sa children, sa finances mo. So don't mix it up. Don't use your children as a pawn dun sa kabilang folder mo. And, you go on.
Hindi. Meron tayong viewer from Slough. Nahuli niya yung kanyang wife, adultery to, no?
Yeah.
Mas maganda ba yan kung siya magsimula mag-initiate ng divorce at mas makakapaghagal siya sa finances?
Not necessarily. I mean, for you probably, minsan sinasabi ko, emotionally, it'll help you move on. Ito, it's general, it may not for you, but generally from experience, kung sino yung parang nasaktan, they need to say their piece. And normally, yes, purely for that reason. Unfortunately, even that, remember mo, ibang folder. Hindi mo pwedeng ilagay sa folder ng kabilang finances. So, it wouldn't really affect yung pangalawang folder mo unless we talked about this. I'm gonna talk about this later. Yung domestic abuse na masyadong chronic, masyadong severe na naapektuhan yung employability nung
One of the
spouse.
spouses. Okay, one of
Yung spouse.
the
So it's not, and ito yung nakakaano, a lot of people are shocked about this na yung normal na domestic violence, wala talaga yon, wala talagang penalty yon. And the reality is wala. Hindi yon counted dun sa second folder ko.
just
Now,
okay. Yeah,
now
just as, sorry, go ahead.
yung domestic violence na yon had an impact na nagka-PTSD yung spouse na physically
Ano yung PTSD?
injured ka.
Attorney, ano yung PTSD?
Post-traumatic stress po.
Post-traumatic stress.
Post-traumatic stress. And this is a real case. This is a real
Okay.
case, by the way. I think this is a reported case. So, post-traumatic stress siya na hindi, yung ability niya to earn, she wasn't able, I always say she, may sexist, or he, wasn't able to apply himself to the world, hindi niya na-maximize yung potential niya bilang tao, then yes, that can have an impact dun sa finances. But the fact na yung kung hindi ganun ka-severe, or it's just an adultery, no, it's not going to affect yung bargaining bandwidth mo sa finances. And I always say that to the client, kasi that's one of the first few things na whether Filipino or not, they always ask, would that have an impact na ganito siya, may adultery? No, it doesn't. It doesn't have an impact.
Okay. Attorney, mga pagbati lang tayo, ha? May mga pagbati tayo and some
Round
questions.
2 ng checking of attendance.
Okay, ayan. Ito si ayan, good evening Sir Sunny and Attorney DANNA, Cora Carsola. Uy, ikaw, di ba, Damer ka, attorney, taga Notre Dame ka, di ba?
Opo, Damer, yes.
Damer, Damer tayong dalawa. Ito, teacher namin sa Notre Dame sa Metro Manila, sa Greater Manila, yeah. Although nasa grade school siya, no? Si Ma'am Cora Carsola, good evening. So, puro
Good evening,
Damers
Ma'am
tayo
Cora.
tonight, no? Yes. Oo.
Damers.
Ayan. Good evening. Si Rudy Libroja would like to say, good evening, Sir Sunny and lovely Attorney DANNA and all kababayans. Mabuhay po, watching from Belfast. Ito na si Edgar Duway. Rudy. Edgar Duway, magandang gabi. The legendary Sunny and the legally yours, Attorney DQ. Oo nga. Ayan.
Yun pa yung bagong tagline namin, legally yours.
Legally yours. Okay. Uy, may tanong dito si Marie Fairbank. My friends separated with 4 children and 2 are underage. Who decides what amount what amount then is husband obliged to give? Siguro. Both husband and wife are working. Attorney, may masasabi ka ba dito?
Yeah, meron po. It's fairly straightforward answer. Child maintenance services, may agency po sa UK. It's a little bit easier. They're trying to make it a little bit easier. So, depende po sa income ng husband. Depende po sa time spent with the children. So that's how they calculate it, and you can do it via that agency. Kasi sila yung nag-arrange, and they ask for disclosure, they ask for how much, they ask for supporting documents. So it's not as if they decide, they facilitate the discussion, and yung calculation na yon was set by the law. So that's how it works. It's a fairly straightforward calculation.
Ito, may additional yata. Hindi ko alam kung related dun sa tanong niya, no? While, who decides the schedule of visitation? Can the wife stop the husband, to access the minor children? Oo. Okay, sige. May isa pa rito, baka lang related to. Baka lang, ito, para dagdag kaalaman mo. Siguro, baka the husband left the wife, no divorce yet, but the husband is now with the new partner. The wife is harassing the partner. What is the legal way to stop the wife? Iba ba yan?
That's a separate.
Iba ba yan? Separate yun. Doon, balik tayo dito sa ano. Attorney, balik tayo sa kanina. Ayan. Balik tayo sa
So the
second.
first one really decides the schedule of visitation.
Schedule dito. Schedule. Yeah.
the court takes this view. So, Children Act proceedings, ang sinasabi ng korte, this is, pag may kinausap kang family law solicitor or lawyer, ito yung parati nilang, kumbaga, parang sirang plaka kami na uulit-ulitin namin tong ano na to, yung criteria na to. Everything must be for the paramount, the paramount consideration must be the best welfare of the children, must be the welfare of the children. So lahat ng gagawin, lahat ng decide, it's always about the children. It's always what's best for the children. The court takes the view na if you can agree between yourselves as parents, at hindi mo na kailanganin pumunta sa korte, if you can agree, thinking about that, thinking about this criteria, yung global criteria namin, what is the best for the children? If you can agree, please do. If you can't between yourselves, try mediation, family mediation, or through lawyers, try to do that. Kung may mga issues ka about how a husband's contact or wife's contact, a parent's contact can affect the children, say so, and say how it's not in the best interest of the children, na hindi nila makita yung other parent nila. It's been scientifically proven, as my previous boss keeps highlighting this, that it's actually better for children to have a positive relationship with both parents. Parehong magulang, may positibo silang relasyon with both parents. It's good for their overall development, health and development. It's somewhere there's science behind it. Hindi na yan tinatanong ng korte. Now, ang parating nangyayari is magre-raise ng issue. We call it safeguarding issues. Magre-raise ng safeguarding issues yung kabilang parent. The reason why they're stopping access is because may potential risk to the child, potential harm to the child, sometimes domestic violence, etc. You still have to go back to the same question. Is it in the best interest of this child to have a contact with this parent? If not, why not? Bakit? Dahil, is it because potentially this parent hinerd ba sila before, or inis ka lang dun sa kabilang parent? If it's you just a bit annoyed dahil nangaliwa yung asawa mo, that wouldn't fare well with the court. The court wouldn't like that. Kasi wala naman yan eh. Hindi naman yan for the best interest of the children, yung decision mo. It's just that you're annoyed with the other parent at ayaw mo. Gusto lang parusahan kasi they made a bad decision. They were bad husbands or bad spouses, but good parent. That should be separate. It should be a separate issue. So, can the wife stop? Yes, if it's in the best interest of the children. If it's in the best interest of the children not to see their father for a little while because may safeguarding issue. However, kung walang safeguarding issue, and pag hindi na-address, kung meron man, at hindi na-address permanently, or may drug or alcohol issue, that's a bit more medium to long term, the court would try to say, okay, ano yung issue? How can we address this issue so that the relationship can be repaired in the medium to long term? Kasi the court would always go back, kasi we go back to that scientific evidence. If the child can have a positive relationship with both parents, it is in their best interest. It's in the best interest ng long-term emotional health nila. So that's how the court would go about it. You can't just stop dahil ayaw mo. You can't stop because annoyed ka. It would have to pass the test of is it in the best interest of the child.
Ayan, very exhaustive ang pagpapaliwanag ni attorney, talagang in-depth, no? Extensive, exhaustive.
We're just talking about this, Mr. Ragan. I'm sorry if I'm coming across quite passionate about this, because for me, I always say, messy na yung situation. You're coming into yung core ng very, very, very human lahat ng tao, very emotional. Between us, we said, ito yung analysis ko why people are highly emotional sa divorce. The three most important things in their lives were really at magulo yung pinakamahalagang bagay sa buhay nila. Yung relationship nila, yung marriage nila, yung anak nila, at yung kabuhayan or mga yung assets nila. So talagang lahat na nahagip. Kaya
Okay.
talagang super emotional at super
Hmm.
highly kumbaga mataas ang emotional energy minsan ng mga tao sa divorce.
General,
And
sorry. Tatanong ko lang, nasaan ba ang mga bata? Kasi parang pinag-uusapan yung visitation rights eh. Parang one of the parents, parang nasa kanya. Is this usually the woman, the wife? Andun ba ang children?
hmm,
Mas
yeah,
lamang na parang, ha?
we talked about that, and ang analysis ko doon, the reason being, lalo na dito sa UK, is
Oo.
that because of the previous generation, the traditional roles by the women who's normally the housewife, and the father would go out and build a career. Now, kung mag-aano na sila, kung maghihiwalay na sila, father would say, "Oh, primary care ako, really, akin na yung mga custody ko." Now, the second question of the court is, okay, sige, so ano yung practical proposal mo? Habang 9 to 5 nasa bahay ka, saan mo doon, anong oras mo kukunin yung mga anak mo? Or nasa yaya lang?
Hmm.
So that's
Okay.
really the reason why normally napupunta sa nanay, because yung practical implementation on, the mom would say, yeah, I've been a housewife and I'm gonna go out, and obviously I have to find a job now, but I'm gonna work around that because that's always been the case for the past few years. Ako yung taga-alaga sa mga anak. Now, what's happening now, Mr. Luragan, is because of remote working, nakita
Mhm.
natin remote working, flexi hours,
Mhm.
yung minsan hindi na ganun ka-traditional yung roles. You have house husbands rather than housewives.
Mhm.
So you're getting fathers
So
who's
ngayon,
actually able to say,
mm,
by the way, kaya kong maging primary care kasi sa bahay
mm,
ako kaya lang naman ako base. I can look after the children. I've been looking after them for the last few years. Modern dads who takes care of the nappies, go to school run.
so pwede
So
na.
they're able to
Pwede
see
rin with
now.
this,
Yeah,
in this
why
current
not?
situation po, pwede na. Dahil
Yeah,
may mga
marami na
work-at-home
po.
dads, di
Marami
ba?
na.
Okay.
Yeah, I've acted for dads who wanted primary care and actually was in a really good stead to say to the court, I've got my life sorted around my children,
Mm.
and I can take care of them, and I can give you a practical schedule on how I can take care of them. So it's mostly because of that, yung change ng gender roles in the past few years, and the ability of technology to allow other dads to work from home, like remote
Okay.
working. So
Okay.
ngayon, pwede na
So
nilang
pwede
sabihan
na.
na, actually,
Okay.
pwede ko nang maging primary carer.
Okay, magbabasa lang ako ng mga tanong dito, no? Hindi lumabas doon sa ating message board. Babasahin ko. Ito sabi ni Emeline Rafael, Attorney Dana, may problema ako sa SSS ko na kailangan ko ng attorney at ikaw ang naisip ko kagad na malapitan. Kailangan nila ng affidavit ng name ko. Pwede bang magpagawa sa iyo ng affidavit? Kailan ba kita pwedeng makita at makausap about the affidavit? Affidavit ba? Affidavit, no? Na kailangan sa SSS, no? Yan, pwede ka bang, they can hire you to draft their affidavit ba?
I am not sure if we'll have to speak first. The reason being, hindi ko alam kung kailangan nila yung specialist na abogado. Notary po kasi specialist dito. The reason is that it's an international document. Pupunta dito from here to the Philippines. SSS po ata yan eh. But
Mhm.
kung dito na SSS lang, we'll have to make sure na yun yung hinihingi nila. I'm happy to help. I just want to make sure na hindi siya madedelay dahil iba pala yung hinahanap nila. I'm not hindi dito po ako qualified, sir. Hindi po ako qualified sa Philippines. So that's the only reason why I need to know more if they'll allow yung signature ko to do the
Ayan.
affidavit if it's
Oo.
going to the Philippines.
May problema tayo niya, attorney, pag kailangan, I want attorney Dana Quinto from the United Kingdom. O, di ba? Kaya naman si Evelyn Raffol, malaking fan
Tawagin
mo
natin
yan
si
eh.
Conjen. Conjen.
Oo. Oo. Sige, hindi, kung po pwede, tanongin mo, Evelyn, kung pa pwede.
No problem. It's
Hindi,
not a
tanongin natin kung
problem.
pa pwede muna sa SSS. Tanongin nyo, pagagawa ho ako kay
Ano
Atty. Dana,
yung
pwede ho ba yun? Kailangan itanong mo muna, Evelyn, no?
Ano
Okay.
niyo po mo, kung pwede po, I'm happy to help.
Well,
No
okay,
problem.
happy to help. Okay,
Happy to
may mga tanong pa rito, sandali ha. May mga, kasi may mga lumulusot na ano na hindi ano okay, uy. Love it. Sabi ni Dana, Dana tuloy, ni Darmin yata, love daw niya, love, okay, love, love it legally yours, Dana. Advance happy birthday. Binabati si Edgar. Gusto niya yung ano, no? Yung,
Happy birthday.
oo. Ayan, si John Rocakurva, pagbati lang. Good evening, Sir Sunny and Miss Dana Quinto. Pa-shoutout po sa team Luz Biminda Builders UK. Thanks po, sir. More power sa inyo, no? Kayo mag-asawa dyan, no? May Tigbao Vargas, good evening, Sir Sunny. Attorney Dana, watching from Exeter, Devon. Okay?
Japanese.
May tanong si Dana, ano rito, si Edgar Attorney. Hindi lumabas siya sa ating...
Ano nila?
Okay, ang tanong niya, sakop pa ba ng work nyo na endorso ang mga divorcee sa mga ahensya na mag-handle ng mental health issue na papaloob dito? I don't know if you made sense out of it. Sakop pa ba ng work nyo na endorso ang mga divorcee sa mga ahensya na mag-handle ng mental health issue? Napapaloob dito? I don't know, naintindihan mo yan? Edgar, padala mo ulit para medyo magulo. Hindi kita pwedeng patawagin ngayon dahil may problema tayo sa ating Zoom dito sa studio. Ayusin natin yan. Medyo may nangyari ng weekend.
No,
So,
we'll try to put it into context.
sige, okay.
I'm not sure if you're talking about sectioning, Edgar, yung mga nasa section, yung mga purely sa mental health na sectioning cases. I don't personally do that. But, kasi sobrang specialist niyan. But if you're asking if kung kami, as a divorce lawyers, if we can get evidence about someone's mental health at send sa court, yes, that's part of the whole procedure. But I think you're asking about the first one, about sectioning. I mean, term dito, Mr. Laragan, pag nasa section ka,
Ano ibig sabihin yun? Buwang ka? May tama ka? Tapos dinala ka sa mental hospital? Ganun ba yun?
Correct.
Section? Ayun,
Correct, that's right.
oo.
Yeah. So, may
Okay.
mga abogado din, ganun yung ginagawa nila purely. So, that's something na hindi ko po ginagawa. It's just, hindi lang siya naging part ng legal practice ko. And it's very, very specialist area.
Pwede sa divorce yan. Kunyari, feeling ko, asawa ko buwang. Parang ganun. Pwede mong i-claim. Ganun. I want a divorce, di ba? Maraming ganyan.
Yung
Okay.
meron pa, it's actually an often, parating nadadaanan yung issue of whether more on sa children matter, yung nire-raise na issue would talk about safeguarding kung nasa tamang hwisyo ba yung parent to take care of the child. So, dun po karamihan nadadaanan yung issue na yan.
Attorney,
And
may...
media experts.
Okay. May sinasabi. Patapos yan. May tanong dito si Gretchen Sullivan. Ang sabi ni Gretchen Sullivan, Miss Dana, how to end the marriage po in the UK if sa Pinas po kinasal? Kailangan po ba na mag-file ng annulment din sa Pinas? Ewan ko kung may annulment. Ulitin ko yung tanong.
Dito lang
Miss
ako
Dana,
marami.
how to end the marriage? Teka muna, kasal sila sa Pilipinas and then parang gusto nilang i-divorce dito? Ganun siguro parang ibig sabihin ba nun? Miss Dana, how to end the marriage po in the UK if sa Pinas po kinasal? Kailangan po ba na mag-file ng annulment din sa Pinas?
My understanding is that dito ko lang iaano yung UK ha. So you can check this with a Filipino lawyer. My understanding is that pag dito ka sa UK, if you're a habitual resident here, at I think andito yung family mo and andito yung mga anak mo and dito ka permanently, may jurisdiction yung UK. I have Filipino clients na dun kinasal sa Philippines. May jurisdiction yung UK to do the decree absolute yung divorce. Whether or not kailangan mo pa, I have a gut feeling na you still have to i-endorse yung decree absolute mo sa Pilipinas. But I'll come back to you in respect of that. My gut feeling is, as I've said, may jurisdiction yung UK na i-divorce yung parties if they're based here, if they're domiciled here, if they're habitual resident here, yun yung proper term, habitual resident. So yun yung jurisdiction. If that is divorce, I think meron lang extra. I'm not sure kung may extra proceedings. I'm not sure if full on yung annulment because we pass it on to the local lawyers. And you have to check. I'll come back to. I'm a bit curious dun sa extra requirement na yon. But
Okay.
pwede kang may jurisdiction ka i-divorce dito, even though outside yung marriage mo.
Okay.
Because we actually do pinapa-translate pa yan kung ano, may ibang marriage certificate na nasa local language, not necessarily Philippines but other language, and they produce it with English translations. The divorce petition actually asks for the actual translation.
Okay. Thank you very much sa Gretchen Sullivan, no? At least hopefully na sagot ni attorney yung tanong mo, no? Ito may question tayo from Des Max. Sabi niya, Ma'am Dana, gusto ko po i-divorce ang husband ko. May anak po kami. Gusto ko po sa Pinas na ako. Saan po mapupunta ang dalawa kong anak?
Depende sa kung ilang taon yung anak mo, Des. Obviously,
Des, D-E-S.
Des.
Des,
I think
D-E-S,
minor.
Max. Oh, yeah.
Des Max. So, Des, depende sa kung saan mapupunta, kung ilang taon yung anak mo. Let's say minor sila. Kasi kung, put it this way, kung may edad na sila, it's not going to be a problem. So, let's say minor sila, kasi dun lang magkakaroon ng debate. You do have to agree between you and your about to be ex-spouse if he's going to be agreeable na mag-move yung bata. Because may parental responsibility din siya. He would have equal rights and he would have equal say kung tatanggalin mo yung bata sa jurisdiction ng UK, and especially if the child is a British citizen as well. So I would say, pag-usapan nyo, present to him why it's in the best, talk about yung big criteria namin, kanina, why is it in the best interest of the child na mag-move sa Pilipinas? And minsan naman na pag-uusapan naman yun eh. So instead of going to the lawyers straight away, bago ka pumunta sa lawyers, I'm not saying don't go to the lawyers because you're getting yung generic advice na bibigay ko rin naman sa mga clients ko. Talk to him on a full and frank basis na sabihin mo, ito yung plano ko and the reason why ito yung plano ko is this, and the reason why mag-work to is it's in the best interest of the child, and these are the reasons. So set out your reasons bakit nakakabuti sa bata na dun kayo.
Okay. Well, ito may question dito, no? Attorney, si Andrew Hudson. Pero kakaiba yung tanong niya, mukha yatang, do we know when the Philippines, pero would like to say good evening to Andrew Hudson, no? Sabi niya, do we know the Philippines? Ayan. Do we know, malayo yata, bakit say, baka malayo to.
Do we know when
the Philippines will open up,
travel?
travel to UK students to return to their studies?
I don't know, Andrew. Perhaps we can ask. We'll go ask, and then we'll shout it out. I'll go try to ask next time. I don't think it's publicly announced yet, but we'll try to find the information, and then we'll let you know next week. Para mabalik natin si Kuya next week.
Andrew. Okay. Loressa McWill, sabi niya, very well said. Siguro yung mga sinabi mo kanina earlier. Si Edgar is saying, salamat na marami sa 17th ang kaarawan ko. Yan, pagbati niya.
Yes, Edgar. Yes.
Yan, Edgar.
Happy birthday.
Edgar, kung iikot ka nga pala ng sabi mo, the night before pa ng birthday mo, lumalakad ka na, no? Baka sa night ng show, bukas ng gabi, 16, baka pwede kang tumawag kung nasan ka. Worried kami kung saan ka nag-tent, no? How do you call that? Ng pitch ng tent. Tama? Pitch ba ito? Ayan, oo. Okay, meron tayong viewer from Orpington, Kent. Sabi niya, Lynn Clemente Dunyao ba yan? Dunyao. D-U-N-I-A-O. Good evening, Attorney Dana and Sir Sunny, watching from Orpington, Kent.
Good evening.
Good evening. May question si Edgardo. Sabi niya, Attorney Dana and Kuya Sunny, if got married in Pinas in year 2015, The girl is permanently living in the UK. The guy doesn't want to go here in the UK. Teka muna. All right. It has been 5 years since they saw each other. If no one is filing an annulment, until when the girl can look for another legal partner? Thanks. Nakuha mo
By
ba?
legal partner, do you mean wife or husband? You still have to. You don't get automatically divorced because of lapse of time. Edgardo, not you, but anyone. Dahil lang hindi kayo nag-usap o hindi kayo nagkita ng 20 or 25 years, it doesn't mean wala pong expiry ang marriage. So you
Oo
have
nga,
to do
oo.
you have to go through the rigmarole. I have without breaking confidentiality, I have cases where they've been separated for 20 to 25 years at hinayaan lang nila, friends pa rin sila, hinayaan lang nila. And actually, parang, alam mo yun, may iba na silang partners, tapos biglang, kailangan ng ata natin. So, that's an example. Even after 20 years of separation, kailangan pa rin gawin yung divorce petition nila.
Meron sa batas sa Pilipinas na pag after a number of years yata presumed dead na yung husband, let's say hinahanap, hindi na makita, nakakapag-asawa uli. Hindi
Not
din sa
here in
UK.
the
Sa UK din sa Pilipinas ang adultery is an offense, criminal offense 'yun, di ba?
Not here in the UK.
Not in the UK, you can probably use it as a ground for divorce, pero hindi mo pwedeng demanda o ng criminal liability or whatever, yung wala rito sa sa UK.
Hindi mo pwedeng ilagay dun sa second folder yung sinasabi natin
Hindi po pwede.
pwede mong gamitin sa finances. And also, ito yung isang trivia natin, practical trivia sa legal advice. Pag pumunta kayo sa abogado niyo, sinabi mo, ay, nangaliwa yung asawa ko, pwede bang ground natin adultery? Ang weird thing nito, sasabihin ng most of us lawyers would say, actually, yes, you're right, I hear you, however, we'll put it under unreasonable behavior. Kasi mataas yung evidential requirement ng adultery dito. Kailangan may pangalan, may date, may ganon, kailangan may ilagay.
Okay.
In reality, walang actually, ano lang naman yun, Mr. Sunny, parang tick box. So we put it under unreasonable behavior, tas doon namin ilalagay na may nag-commit ng adultery. So it's a bit of a roundabout.
Bakit pagka-adultery, kailangan pa i-specify pa kung anong hotel, ganyan, anong oras,
Opo.
baka nakuha mo ba ng photo?
Exactly, correct.
Pero ang adultery,
So,
how do you prove it?
exactly-
Yung when you see them having sex, ganun ba? O hindi naman, not
Well,
necessarily.
The problem is I never really, sa tagal ko sa 10 years, never ko talaga ni-use
Narinig.
because of that, kailangan yun exactly what date, which time, talagang sufficiently without creating revenge pornography.
Pero sabi mo, mataas ang mataas. What makes it high? Because mas kailangan, meron kang evidence?
May evidence ka. Yeah.
Oh,
Evidence
okay.
ka. Nobody uses it really in reality. In these days, wala nang nobody. Very rarely lang po ginagamit yon. Because pwede ka namang mag-divorce na doon mo lang ilagay sa unreasonable behavior.
Okay. Ito, sabi ni Edgardo, sabi niya, Attorney Dana and Kuya Sunny, follow-up question coming from Ayen. Ayen, siguro kaibigan niya. Got married in the UK and permanently living in UK. If they are planning to divorce, do they need to file an annulment in the Philippines? Hindi na siguro.
I don't think so.
They got married in the UK. And they're permanently
I don't think
living.
so.
You can. Kung wala kayong record ng marriage sa Pilipinas, there's nothing to.
Nothing.
Pero pag
Kung
kung kasal kayo sa Pilipinas yata, as far as I know, at
As far as I know as well.
na-divorce kayo rito, hindi pa
You
rin
have to
divorce.
do an extra.
Yeah, doon.
I think may tawag po sila, I forgot, annotation ba yun or something? May extra procedure po.
Ayan, oo. Okay. Well,
But yeah, again, I don't think so. Kung walang record sa Pinas, you just do the divorce here.
pero kailangan talaga mag-divorce attorney. Kunyari, if you put it in the back burner or put it aside or set it aside, parang hindi pa muna binibigyan ng attention. Let's say one of them or both of them found new loves. Mas mabuti ba hindi ka pa nakaka-find a new love mag-divorce ka na? O meron bang, is there a time really to divorce?
Well, wala naman po. I mean, at the
Oh.
end of the day, sa inyo naman po yan eh.
Mm.
I talk about yung isang kaso ko, 25 years na hinayaan lang nila. Where nagkakaroon ng practical impact is, naalala mo, pinag-usapan natin with FT, yung mga, halimbawa, wala kang will, nakalimutan mo mag-will, nakalimutan mo din mag-divorce. So, imbis na mapunta dun sa girlfriend mo or boyfriend mo for the last 10 years, mapupunta dun sa asawa mo na hindi mo din-divorce.
Oh, okay. Attorney, ito,
May mga automatic na nangyayari if hindi mo na disconnect yung mga relationship na yun. That's something na na magkakaroon ng practical impact.
okay.
So yes, my advice is,
Mm.
kung nandun ka na emotionally and okay naman na pag-usapan nyo, do it as promptly as possible.
Okay. That's good. Gawin na ho niyo. Do it promptly, no? As possible. Okay. May tanong pala talaga si Ayan, attorney. Parang meron lang siyang spokesperson in the person of Edgardo Cagastian. Ito basahin ko lang, no? Sabi niya,
Sige, go on.
we've been married po sa Philippines. Is there any problem po ba? Di namin na-register dito sa UK. Kung marriage certificate namin. Hindi naman yata kailangan eh.
I don't think it is.
Di mo na
Yeah, I
kailangan.
don't think it is.
Pero
Hindi po.
kung kasal ka sa Pilipinas as spouse kayo, kinikilala rito sa UK na may mag-asawa kayo, di ba? O kinikilala. Pero you don't need
Ginagawa
to...
po nila yung sponsorship visa, Mr. Laragan.
Ano yan?
Diba? When you sponsor your husband or wife
Yes. Oo.
sa yung marriage certificate mo sa Pilipinas yung dati sa dito. And the same way na yung marriage certificate sa ibang bansa din. So, kinikilala po yung mga.
Alright. Okay. Teka muna. Meron tayo rito mga tanong pa rito.
Hindi po, go lang.
Okay.
Problema.
Ito, sabi ni Emeline Rafael, sumagot siya. Okay po. Okay, thanks po. Thank you so much, Attorney Dana and Sunny.
Salamat.
Ayan, okay. Paki-clear lang. Pero siyempre, kung kaya ni attorney, okay yan. Paki-clear lang kung pwedeng from somebody from here, no? A solicitor. Okay. Ayan, maduduling ka siguro yan sa sobrang... basahin ko na lang, nababasa ko. About the subject, I would suggest that both parents come to their own agreement about their children. End of the day, it's the children that would be affected the most. In my case, the ex wanted money most of all and used the CSA. Ano ba yung CSA? To be financially... CSA?
Yeah, Children's Services. Yung dun
and use the CSA to be financially better off rather than let the children spend time with me. They were young at the time and the mother always get her wishes regardless. 15 years later, children are adults now and still lives as
sour taste.
A sour taste, yes.
The
The authorities, well, then they have disappeared from. Disappeared from. Putol ba yan? Is there a continuation?
Yeah, putol may. Ranjit, do you have
disappeared from their responsibility. So, basahin ko ito, attorney, disappeared from their responsibility, and all they did was ordered little money, but in fact, they destroyed our relationship between children and me. Money didn't do anything, but guess made the ex happier. The system does not take into account that some dads do love their children. Baka you might want to comment on that.
No, I will actually. Ranjit is very right about the first yung I respect Ranjit's experience. But I always say you can't really mag-English lang ako kasi si Ranjit.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead, attorney. Go ahead. Of course, yes.
I'd always say when you can't argue about someone's experience of something, whether it's positive or negative. You can't say it's right, or you can't say it's wrong. Rather, you can't criticize them for giving their opinion and giving their narrative of how they experience something. I agree with the highlighting, being able to talk about it, being able to try to agree about it. Because at the end of the day, it's your family, it's your children. You would want to have a positive relationship as much as you can, a civil relationship with the other parent. You'll always be linked with this person. You know, you share a child together. You'll see each other. Okay, maybe you don't like each other at the moment, but 15 years down the line, you'll see each other at graduation, at weddings, at christenings, at family functions. You will never be able truly to get rid of this person. So the best thing to do is to make the best out of a bad situation and try to find things that you can agree on. If you really can't agree on something, if they're really safeguarding issues, the court has meant and the law has been created, really formulated to err on the side of caution, to protect the vulnerable, to protect the safeguarding of the children. And sometimes I accept, sometimes that may feel like overly cautious approach, and that may feel like that they are being unfair to another parent pag nilalagay nila yung extra obstacles to prove na wala na talagang safeguarding issues. I have been on opposite sides, on both sides, the one who's asking for contact, and then the other side who's saying, well, hang on a minute, no contact yet because we're really concerned. So I've seen stories on both sides. I've seen both sides who has not had a perfect experience of the system. I've seen other instances and cases where they started off as not very good, but actually they work with the system to make their case better, and they in the end manage to get the primary care. So what I would say is, at the end of the day, you make a decision as much as you can. If you are able to, do try to agree with the other parent. And if you are really, if you feel na hindi talaga, if the system is not working for you, then that's the reason why, we emphasize get out of the system, and try to agree. But if the other parent is not going to agree, then it's very hard. From experience again, and I don't know if that's what happened to you, Randy. This is what's been, I'm only, Mr. Laragan keeps saying that I look, I look like a teenager. But I've been in the industry for 10 years. I've heard from a lot of people who's been in the industry for 30, 40 years, who's worked with parents for that long period of time. What tends to happen is that talking about time, it's actually, time can help you. Sometimes, patience can help. Sometimes, not just Ranjit, but children grow up, and if all throughout the proceedings you only wanted the best for your children, it will come out. It always comes out. It always comes out. Hindi man ngayon, not now, not in 5 years, but maybe in 10, 15 years, your children will get to know you. They'll be adults. They'll have minds of their own. You are free to have a relationship with them. I've seen parents who has very minimal contact, but rediscovered being a parent again after the children turn 18. And that is, that's another chance again. So, as I've said, try to agree, try to preserve a level of civility, and if not, still try to do the right thing. What's in the best interest of the children.
Well, at the end of the day,
You're still the dad.
yes,
No one can take that away
yes,
from you.
even if your wife was able to engineer, and put you in a bad light with your kids, you might, there's such a thing as karma, no? She might be, because she
No one
was
can
more
take
concerned about the
away.
money than the children. Well,
No one can take that away from you. You're still
oh,
going to be the dad no matter what. You can't take away.
Ranjit, mabuhay, you're mabuhay. Mabuhay was long live, mabuhay. Okay. Ito mga final, pag babasahin ko lang mga final dito, no,
Yeah, go
attorney.
for it.
Okay. Ayan, si Edgar, siguro he commented siguro kanina, some divorcees, kasi ano yan, sabi niya, some
Na-depressed.
divorcees kasi na-depressed and they need counseling, kaya they need some help after the divorce. Ibang bagay na siguro yan, parang mga mental health,
Counseling.
mga baka sa NHS na yan or anything na, or ano, no? Psychiatrist. Okay. Ito, cute tong message ito, attorney. Sugar Supremo, maayong gabi, Mr. Sunny and beautiful attorney Dana, watching from Marbel, Philippines.
I know,
Always
sugar.
your supportive fan. Ito yung clincher. Don't forget the vitamin C's and the smiles. Love, love. Kita mo?
I know sugar. Hi, Ga. I know sugar from back home, from
Oh, ganda,
Coronadal.
no? Don't
She's
forget your
actually,
vitamin C's and
yeah,
smiles.
she's a
Ayan.
doctor. She's a doctor, Mr.
Ay,
Naraga. Bigyan tayo ng online na reseta.
wow, galing ha. Oo nga, online reseta. Don't forget your
Sugar.
vitamin C's and smiles. Love, love. Attorney, bilang mo, ikaw attorney dito sa UK, siya doktor sa Pilipinas.
Yeah.
Sugar, mabuhay ha.
Yeah.
You take
Frontliner
care.
po yan, Doc Sugar. So, mabuhay lahat ng frontliners natin.
Yes. Okay, mabuhay. Gary Sarte, sabi niya, good evening, Sunny. I am watching from West London. Saan ka sa West London? Malaki yan. No? Ayan. Ito, si Edgardo pala, taga UST pala to, ano ka rin, ka alma mater ko, no? Edgardo Cagacian Enriquez, sabi niya, thank you, Attorney Dana.
Dominican din po.
Dominican, yes, oo. Oo, yes, Dominican Order of Preachers, yung mga Dominicans, di ba?
Yes,
Oo.
exactly. Yeah.
Pero yung bang Notre Dame niyo ba, Attorney, mga Dominicans? O
Opo,
Oblates?
Dominican po. Opo,
Oh, pero
Dominican po
pero
kami.
yung sa amin sa Caloocan, bakit Oblates?
Oblates po kayo. Dominican po kami. The same as Uste.
Oh, usted,
Dominican.
Dominican College, at saka yung, merong isa yung,
Siena.
ha?
Siena po. Dominican din ata.
May
Siena.
eskwelahan yung Santo Domingo. Ano may, merong eskwelahan sa
Ah,
loob na.
yes.
Oo, ano yun,
Colegio de
Dominic?
Santo Domingo.
Hindi. It's, ano ba, nakalimutan ko na. Okay.
Yeah.
Oo, kasi yung sa Notre, Oblates of Mary Immaculate yun, so OMI, no? Pero sa UST, Dominicano yung mga Order of Preachers. Diba?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney Dana. So, nagpasalamat siya sa atin, no?
Thank you, Edgardo. Always a pleasure. Salamat sa panonood always. Nakakatawa.
Oo. Good evening, Arnel Valenzuela. Catching up here in West Cork,
Sure.
Ireland.
Well,
Wow.
Laya. Galing ah.
Oo.
Giling sa'yo. Magandang gabi sa mga Irish.
Yeah. Irish. Uy!
Yung mga Pilipino nasa
Baka
Ireland.
sa Wednesday, napanood mo ba, Attorney, yung pangalan nito, yung The Voice Kids 2020? May-
Hindi po eh. Kailangan
Sila-
ko nga po panoorin kasi yung kababayan natin na chikiting, andun, ang galing-galing daw po.
Marami, puro chikiting. Mga chikiting. Isang chikiting magmula sa Wales. Naku, sa may dyaryo. Siya ang cover ngayon ng ating... Hindi ko alam. Sige, papakita ko siya. Sige, dali ha. Baka may, ito, major in accounting. Tentali lang ha. Ayan, si Edgardo Cagas yan. Uy!
Major na hali.
Nagpa-practice
Go,
ka ba nito, no, Edgardo? Nagpa-practice ka ba? Ayan. Teka muna, attorney, papakita lang kita, ha? Ayan. Sandali, baka may mga tanong pa rito. May tanong... okay.
Go, Uste.
Sige,
Go, Uste.
hintayin nyo lang ako. Hintayin ko lang at kukuha ko ng nung isang dyaryo. Sandali lang, ha?
Ako ba muna magre-regulate? Ano ba to? Monologue muna. Monologue. Ayun. Edgardo, dati, kami, may DOMNET, Dominican Network. Ewan ko kung napunta ka. So, maraming taga-Uste, o UST High School din, pumupunta ng Mindanao, sa mga Notre Dame. Tapos, parang youth group. That was good. And that was good. Naata si Mr. Sunny. Mr. Sunny, nandiyan pa ba kayo?
Andito ako. Sandali. Dahil akala ko magkukwento ka sa... Kwentuhan mo ba sila, attorney? Nagkwento ka ba sa kanila?
Parang kwento lang ako. Akala ko magta-talent portion na ako eh.
Ito ngayon yan. Ito yung bagong labas. Last month, ang cover natin si Attorney Dana, no? Ikaw ba yung cover last month?
Apa.
Yan. Ito ngayon ang cover natin. Ito yung nanalo, si Justin Afante. Ayan,
Justin, diba? Justine,
Ay,
congratulations. We're very,
oo.
very proud of you.
Ayan,
Very proud of you.
ito si Justine. Ayan, oh, ayan. Ayan.
Chikiting.
Oh, hindi,
Galing.
hindi, may isa pa. Ang chikiting siya, no? Yung, ito, 14 years old to. 14
Ay,
years
hindi na
old.
masyado chikiting. Okay,
Ang
tigil na.
chikiting siya, no? Si Victoria Alcina. Oo.
Victoria, yun yung
Ano.
chikiting.
Ito,
Galing.
attorney, alam mo ba? Bata pa siya, hawak-hawak sa daddy niya, nagpa-picture sa akin sa Costco, sa Croydon.
Talaga?
Yes, oh. Nagulat ako, may lumapit sa akin. Pwede ho picture? Bakit to? Kasi lagi ako nakikinig sa program nyo. Who would think na itong bata na to
Ay,
magiging
nakakatawa.
champion?
Nakakatawa po pag nananalo
Oo.
yung mga Pilipino sa mga
Ayan.
ganyan. Nakakatawa na may mga Pilipino na ano dito, na highlight sa UK community. Na
Yes.
ako talaga, na ano talaga ako.
Totoo yan, attorney. In fact, siya
Mamaya
covers...
ko sa work kapag may nabalitaan ako sa mga TV shows or wow, galing.
Siya ang cover story natin. Siya ang
Swansea po siya. Sa Swansea.
Swansea,
Okay.
yeah. Cover story natin si Justine. Ayan.
Galing.
Oh, andito rin yung napakagandang article ng napaka beauty and brains and youth and everything.
Yung
Ah,
na-late na.
Oo, lahat. Ito.
Sorry, medyo na-late.
Hindi, okay lang. Ito yan.
Parang
Ito,
nagpasa lang yung project.
tenants rights ba pinag-usapan mo, attorney?
Okay.
Ayan. Oh, ayan, may picture sa ilalim. Ayun, yung magandang picture na yan. Ayun. Oh, ayan, oh.
Tenants' rights in the UK, we talked about it a few weeks ago, pero kung
Yes.
kailangan nyo po ng more information, na makita nyo kung ano yung kailangan yung tingnan sa mga dokumento, mga binigay
Ayan.
sa inyo, really, really, please read that. And sabihin nyo sa landlord
Ayan.
nyo, asan yung ganito ko, asan yung ganito, asan yung ganito.
Ayan. Hanapin niyo sa inyong paboritong suking tindahan ninyo, no? Ayan.
Congratulations, Justine, again. We're
Yes.
very, very proud of
Like,
you. And
they-
kay Victoria po, no?
Victoria, yung isa, pero nabanggit ko kasi doon sa mga rounds na elimination rounds, nasama yung isang Pilipina, si Rachel O'Donnell, taga Ireland. Oh, siya yung country singer. Country singer yun, attorney eh. Oo.
Ang galing.
Magaling talaga. 5 yata ang Pilipinong nakapasok diyan sa The Voice Kids. So,
Ang galing.
unti-unti na. 'Di ba? Pumapasok na tayo, no? Pero
talaga.
mostly sa singing, no? Napakahusay ng mga Pilipino sa singing.
Magaling.
Magaling talaga.
talaga.
Kaya ayan. Yan ho ang ating issue ngayon na abangan ho ninyo. Ay, yung mga pagsagot dito. Tagalog si Ranjit. Ranjit spoke in Tagalog. Reacted in Tagalog, sabi niya. Asa may reaction niya. Ayan, sabi niya, salamat. Salamat. Nababasa mo ba?
Quite.
Salamat.
Very good.
That's a nice comments. Message was, as Dana says, is to agree things between themselves and not to be greedy and not use system which be biased otherwise. Oh, okay.
Do not weaponize the children. Really,
Ito.
I'm saying that out loud now, and I say that to my clients. If you tell me to do that, I will tell you to not do that.
Ayan. Keep pressing the enter key before finishing. But anyways, thanks again. Ayan. Ano tong sinabi ni
Thank you,
Edgar?
salamat, Thank you.
Knock joke ka muna, attorney.
Alam po, sino po kanina nung iniwan niyo ako.
Hindi kasi I had to get the paper malayo eh. So, ito ho, bagong paper. The only true local community newspaper from cover to cover. We write our articles originally. These are not franchises. And we highlight Filipinos who are achievers and inspirational, no? Inspirations, no? Ayan. Si Justina Afante. Ang inspiration natin last month, this is the September issue. Ang inspiration natin last month, kausap ko ho. Nandiyan dyan ho, sa Bedfordshire. Ayan, si Attorney DANNA Quinto. Okay, Attorney, palagay ko magpapaalam na siguro tayo, no? Mukha yata...
Baka maabutan na natin yung birthday ni Edgar Due.
Oo nga, oo. Baka hindi magsisimula maglakad yan hanggang hindi tayo nagpapaalam. Okidoki. Attorney, baka meron ka mga nais na i-anunsyo o meron ka pang mga shoutouts or anything na gusto nyong banggitin, go right ahead, Attorney.
Well, I just want to say, we're talking about mga inspirational and mga pillars of the community. So, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Laragan. Yung parating tayo yung ina-uplift ni Mr. Laragan, tayo yung talagang pinupush. And I think I'll take this opportunity to say thank you sa beach mo, sa community natin. And may you live a long, long life, and may we have you more in this community. And nakakatuwa po at lahat kami na touch mo yung buhay namin. So I just want to say thank you.
Bihira ako mag-blush, attorney. Ngayon lang ako magbablush.
Bless you.
Maitim ako, pero magbablush ako. Ano ba itsura na maitim na tao, tapos nagbablush? No, but I wanna, thank you for the kind words, no, attorney. In fact,
You're always the one who's uplifting us. Dapat, minsan nakakalimutan natin yung mga taong parating nag-uplift sa atin. So, we should take the time to say thank you to ang ating nag-iisang Mr. Laragan. He's always there to highlight inspirational people in the community. Not to mention na siya mismo, inspirational din. So, let's not forget about
alam mo,
that.
mahal na mahal kita, no? Attorney. Hindi. Nahanap ko lang yung message kasi do you know Stacy Danica? Si Stacy?
At hindi po.
Siya yung ating consul natin, yung napakagandang consul na si Stacy, kilala mo? Danica?
I've not met her. Bago po ba? Bago?
Oo, bago. Siya ang ating consul. Siya, summa cum laude sa Mascom sa Silliman University.
Silliman.
Something like that. No, siyang tapos laging yan. Nag-message sa akin, attorney. Sabi niya, Sunny, gusto kitang sa Presidential Awards. Bakit? Sabi ko. Tapos niya, may sinabi siya.
Umpisa na ako ng petition, Mr. Sunny.
Sabi ko, hindi ako diyan. May sinabi siya.
Boboto sa Presidential Awards diyan.
She said something ano ba tawag? May sinabi siya na ano ba yan? Something about, sabi niya, you, parang yung what you've done, no, in media dito, ganyan. Para sabi ko, nakakaya naman, wag naman ako, no, sabi niya, Anyway, so yun, si Stacy, one evening, bigla siyang nag-message sa akin na parang she wanted to push for that. Pero, alam mo naman ako, nahiya ako sa mga ganyan, So,
well, she's absolutely right. I think, kayong mga journalists, kayong mga broadcasters na parating nagpo-push at nag-highlight sa ibang tao, sa amin, sa maraming tao, we should not forget those who keeps uplifting other people. Kailangan i-uplift din sila. Kailangan bigyan ng appreciation at hindi makalimutan. Life is short, as we know, and we should say thank you to people who's touched our lives. So,
ikaw
yes,
din,
for
attorney.
Presidential Awards. Sign the petition down there sa comment section.
Ikaw, attorney, you've touched a lot of lives. The time that we've been together and we've been doing this, and a lot of people now are familiar with you, and somehow they love you. I'm sure yung kanilang appreciation of what you're doing for everybody, and yung personality mo, yung ikaw, no? And napakahusay mo naman because you are really very intelligent ka at very articulate, no? At mahusay ka naman, no? Imagine, sabi mo, 10 years ka na, although mga 30 years na, 10 years na, di ba? So somehow, you're fully experienced and equipped, no? And then, of course, talking to people who've been in the trade for 30 or 40 years, that adds on to your knowledge, no? So, mabuhay din. Thank you very much. At we appreciate it, and I love this program that we do. Dahil maski paano ako, natututo ako eh. Although ang aking questions, the questions that I pose are mostly questions, let's say, parang putting it in the shoes of the viewers na parang innocenteng tanong lang, no? So that's what yun lang ang trabaho ko. Pero ako'y natutuwa, attorney. I always look forward to this show natin dahil this is a mission that we have, no? We're not only touching one or two lives, marami tayong mga viewers na nanonood at they make it a point to view, no, and watch this program, no. Maski hindi nila problema, problema ng ibang tao, at least
Oh, yeah.
sinishare. Di ba? Minsan nakakahiyang tumawag eh. Tatawag ka, hello,
Yeah.
hello, Legal Advice Corner. Kunyari sa show natin, may problema
Opo.
ho ko, baka nakakahiya, di ba? Parang baka na-expose sila.
Oo,
So they
pasa niyo
use
lang po
other
sa
people.
yeah.
Ayan, oo,
Or
tama yan.
anonymous if you want, pasa niyo sa isang anonymous na, if you don't, maybe we should have that kung gusto nilang i-anonymous yung tanong nila. Put an anonymous question there, so it's not a problem. At the end of the day, tayo lang din ng magtutulungan, kung Filipino or not. Kasi andito nga, si
Yes.
Ranjit, part na ng community natin.
He's now part
So,
of our community.
yeah.
Oh, adopted Filipino. Ranjit, you're now an adopted Filipino, no? Honorary Filipino.
Honorary
By
Filipino.
virtue of us and Dana and me,
Yeah.
no? So we hereby, ano ba yan, decree that you are a Filipino. Honorary
Bigyan na ng
Filipino.
pasaporte yan.
Ayan. Oh.
At
Ayan.
rice cooker at magic, ano ba yung tawag din sa karaoke? Mic ba yun?
Magic Sing.
Magic Sing, Magic
Oh, Magic Sing, oo. But ito si Edgar, sabi niya, our day is no longer complete without listening to the legendary Sunny Laragan. Ikaw talaga. Alam mo si Edgar, alam mo to si Edgar, dapat to, ang problema natin kay Edgar, marami na makakain ng cake sa atin at saka merienda, no? Napakabait na tao. Uy, happy birthday! His birthday starts actually tomorrow because he starts working. Oh, although 17th Thursday ang birthday niya, he does his preparations the day before. So, ingat lang. Oh,
Ingat,
nagpaalam ko na, attorney? Nagpaalam ko na ba?
Paalam na ako yun lang. So, thank you on behalf para sa akin na na-touch mo yung buhay. And I'm sure lahat ng na-touch mo ng buhay, we are all ever so grateful for you. You're always saying beautiful, positive things about us. You should not go unnoticed as well. Isa kang legendary na Pilipino din.
Parang si Edgar Duway.
Dangerous ka. Akin na yan.
Well, thank you, attorney. Thank you. Thank you very much. Me too. Likewise, no? I am really, lucky and privileged to have met you, no? And been part of this show, no? Yung show mo, actually show mo to, hindi ko naman show to. Nakasabit lang ho ako rito. Ako lang ho yun, kumbaga, parang sa Pilipinas yan eh. Kunyari, merong isang abogado o senador o doktor, hindi naman pwede siya lang mag-operate eh. So they have to have an anchor, a staff of the station to co-host with them. So, pero ang star of the show ho dito, syempre, walang iba kundi si Attorney Dana Quinto. Dahil yung lahat na nalalaman niya, hindi ko ho pwedeng ipagmalaki o ipagmayabang na wala ko talaga alam. Sa totoo lang. Siya lang yung knowledge na yan about the law, legal law, UK law, yan ang forte ni attorney. And she's been with it for so many years. And ngayon, we also would like to, of course, siguro, we would like to tell you that we're proud of you because why? First of all, you're a very young partner of a law firm, di ba? From a head of one department, which is the head of litigation. Now you're work concurrently as well. Aside from being a head of litigation, you are also a partner of the law firm. So, di ba? It's a step up, and I don't think many Filipinos are partners of law firms, di ba? Wala yata masyado, no? They start out sa mga junior lawyers, no? But which you started from during your early years, di ba? Junior.
Well, we can only hope na it will inspire more Filipinos to become partners and to enter the profession. And sana mas marami pa tayo, hindi lang tayo lang doon. For me, sana, it will also inspire the young ones, mga chikiting, if you want to enter the law, if you want to, if this is something that you want to do, then, sana hindi lang ako. Sana mas marami pa.
O dapat, ayan, mag-serve ng inspiration. Tignan nyo yung August issue na andun yung retrato ni attorney. At, well, we're talking of, publications, for example. Si attorney ho ay nalagay sa mga billboards, sa mga highways, sa mga motorway, mga ganun, mga A-roads or mga no? At sa mga buses, di ba? Nalagay. Nailabas ba yun sa August issue? Nakalagay yun yung picture mo na yun sa mga, yun. Nasa billboard o. Kita nyo, imagine niyo yung litrato ni attorney habang nagda-drive kayo gano'n, nakikita sa malaking billboard. At saka nag-aabang kayo ng bus, no? Nakikita nyo, dumadaan yung medyo nakangiti si attorney sa isang napakalaking billboard o naka-advertise doon, nakalagay doon, no? Ano yan? Law Society ba yan? Attorney, ano saan
The
yun?
Law Society
Oh,
po.
Law
Actually, it was
Society.
my best friend who first saw it. Akala ko kung ano nangyari. Isang Saturday, ako tumawag. Sabi,
Pero,
ano nangyari? Alas 9.
oh,
Hindi ko alam, umiikot na. Tapos tumawag yung best friend ko. Nasa London siya noon.
mm.
Nandun siya nakapito that time. Tumawag, hindi, tumili lang. Ano nangyari? Ano ba
Oh.
yung itsura mo dito?
Ano? Oh, siyempre, yung friends mo. Okay, mga friends mo kami, magugulat kami. Pero ikaw, ano reaction mo? Nakikita mo yung sarili mo, nandun naka-billboard ka, o kaya nasa...
Natawa po ako.
Oh, nagbabas ka pa ba? Nagbabas ka pa ba?
Naawa na yun.
Oh, kung nagbabas ka, biglang umistap sa harap mo. Yung, uy, mukha ko yun ah. Anong feeling mo, attorney? Ano feeling na?
It was a bit weird, I'll be honest.
Oo.
It was slightly weird. Natawa ako actually.
Oo.
Natawa ako. Parang,
Litrato
tapos
mo nasa bus.
nahiya po ako kasi baka may makakita. Baka yun nakapila sa
Oo nga, di ba? O magpa-picture sa'yo, magpa-selfie gano'n para sa ano, di ba? Hindi ba nagpa-selfie, no?
natawa ako. Tapos
It's a nice, ano, no? Weird feeling, but parang, wow, wonderful feeling. Dahil imagine, nandun ka, no? Di ba? No? So, I'm proud, no? So, ako'y natutuwa talaga na kasama ka namin, attorney, magkasama tayo rito. At kayo ho, ng mga nanonood, pakishare lang ninyo. I-share lang ho ninyo ating program para nang sa ganun ho ay mas marami ho makaalam. The better for, ano tawag dito, for our kababayans to know the law. No? Kasi ano ho to, beneficial ho tong program na to. No? Hindi ho to napagkatuwaan lang namin. Hindi, ito ho para sa inyo. At syempre, no, parang if you need also the help of a lawyer, dito na ho, mapagkakatiwalaan na ninyo. Isang Pinay, mas makaka-relate, makakaintindi sa inyo pagka meron kayong mga legal problems na kailangan masolusyonan. Ayan, yan ho si attorney. Eto, alright, teka muna, ito ang pwede nyo kontakin si attorney, no? Ayan. Yan, Deo Valente, no? Ano yan, Luke Street, no? 11 Luke Street. Lurk, sorry, Lurk. Nagkamali tayo, Lurk lang. Lurke. Bedford MK43HZ. Pero ang telepono ni attorney na pwede nyo tawagan, ito. Ayan.
Yan,
1-234-225-188.
188.
Okay.
Correct.
Alright. Well, I guess it's time for us to say goodbye. Magpapaalam na ho kami. Nagpaalam na ho sa inyo si attorney. Maraming salamat ho. So magkita-kita huli tayo. No? Sana'y naging makabuluhan itong ating programa sa gabing ito. At marami ho kayong natutunan. At marami rin kayo na-meet ng friends. No? At least alam niyo na yung mga Ranjit, mga Edgardo, mga Emeline Rafael. Nagiging magkakaibigan kayo. Parang meron tayo one whole family. The family of Pinoy Radio UK, of Legal Advice Corner. Ganyan, no? Parang isang pamilya na ho tayo. Magkakakilala tayo. So, sana harinaway maging makabuluhan every week, no? Subaybayan ho ninyo. Make it a habit to be here every Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. para ho panoorin ang ating programa, no? And tell your friends about it. So, we'll see you again next Tuesday sa ngalan ho ni attorney. Tuesday, di ba? Para sa Tuesday
yeah.
Para naman sa another edition ng Legal Advice Corner. So till then, attorney me are saying goodbye. Take care and God bless. Bye.
God bless. Have a good evening. Thank you. Bye.